And we are live. I'm glad that you're with us tonight. Hopefully, you're having a great evening. For those of you that don't know, my Friday or my Thursdays is my normal Friday. For those of you that aren't really aware of that, so yeah.
We're going fishing tomorrow.
No,
We want to go fishing in the morning.
I don't think so. Rain. Anyway, for those who don't know, Thursday night is like a normal Friday night for most people, so that's what's normal for that. But hopefully you're having a great day. I'm glad you're with us today. Karen is not joining us on this live stream, although you just heard her. She wants to go fishing, but unfortunately she's had some something stuck in her throat, like maybe it's deep allergies or something. We're really not sure. So she was uncomfortable being on stream. She'd probably be hacking the whole time, and so we decided that hey, it's probably best if she just doesn't do that. So in any case, and welcome Traveling Fools. Glad you joined us tonight. One of the things I'm going to try and do is get a regular schedule for our live streaming. I know we kind of got on the habit with the move and just all the different things. So we're going to try and get that, and hopefully it'll be 6:30 on Thursday nights, maybe 7 o'clock, not 100% sure yet, but that's the times we're shooting for. Also, you can see in the background here, Karen got me this for Father's Day. We have our fish awards all around it, and it's We Go Fishing. She had it custom made for me for Father's Day, so I really like that. I think that's pretty cool. So in that case, also we just had our giveaway for Super Clean. We just had that, and we announced the winners there for that. And congratulations to Senor Misterioso, and hopefully those products get out to you shortly. One of the things I did say is if you send me your address via email, I will send you a sticker, because that's something we're trying to do just to appreciate you and for supporting the channel, all that stuff. So if you send me your mailing address through email, don't put it in the chat, please don't do that. But if you send it to me via email, I will get you out some stickers. But we have a bunch of things we want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about how you can catch more fish in the summertime. Summertime is one of the hardest times, in my opinion, to catch fish, and so we'll talk a little bit about that. Before I get into that though, I do also want to say, man, last night we had a crazy fishing experience. My brother-in-law and my sister-in-law were down from Dallas. They live up in Dallas, and they were down there visiting us. And he wanted to go fishing. He's not really a saltwater fisherman. He's done some freshwater fishing, but he wanted to try his hand at saltwater fishing. And so I said, well, we'll take you down to one of the local piers, and we'll kind of get you set up there, see what's on the bottom there, see if we can do some bottom fishing with some live shrimp, just a real easy way of going fishing. So we got down there. Of course, I checked the radar before we went. Radar was clear. We've been having a lot of storms in the area, so if during this live stream you hear thunder and lightning and all that stuff, that's because we've been having a lot of storms in the area. But in any case, we get down there. We're out on the pier, and all of a sudden in the distance, we start seeing white caps just coming across the inlet. It's called Sabine Pass, and we just see these white caps. And then we see the winds. They just start gusting. It's probably 30-35 miles an hour. The winds are just starting to pick up. It's hard. It's blowing. He still wants to fish, so we are trying our best to get out there, to get these lines rigged up and try and get them out there while this wind is just howling. So we get the rods out there. We get 2 rods hooked up. We get them out there. And then in the distance, my son, because we had the whole family with us, and he's got a newborn baby. The baby's 2 months old. He's got his wife there, baby, my kids, Karen's there. Cohen, my youngest, looks off in the distance. He goes, Dad, looks like there's some fog rolling in. And I look over in the distance, and that's not fog. That is a wall of rain that is coming at us. So I'm like, guys, we got about maybe 5 minutes, 7 minutes, we have got to hightail it back to the car. So we're trying to get all the stuff that we had just brought out to that pier back in the wagon and headed out back to the vehicles. And just as we get to the vehicles, it just unleashes just rain. I mean, it was just crazy. There's a curtain of rain that just came, and it rained hard. So we're trying to figure out what we're going to do, because he still wants to go saltwater fishing. I'm like, dude, I really don't know, because the wind is still going, the rain is still going. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work out. But when I looked at the radar screen, I noticed that around Sabine Lake, there's another pier up on a place called Pleasure Island, and the rain wasn't there. So I said, well, the wind is still bad, but we can try that. And so he says, let's give it a try. We send the kids and his wife home. Karen stays with me and my brother-in-law, and we go out on this other pier. We drive, it's about maybe 20 minutes from the first pier that we were at. We get out there, and Sabine Lake is like an ocean. I mean, it is like crazy waves. We have white caps on the bay. We've probably got about 3 or 4 foot waves coming in. It's crashing over the levees. When we got on the pier, you could actually feel the pier. I don't know if you ever had this happen to you, but we were out on the pier, and the pier's actually rocking. Like, you could feel it moving, and that's pretty unsettling when you're out there and you feel the pier actually just moving while you're trying to fish. But it's not raining, just windy, and so we start fishing, and then the wind starts just dying down, and it started getting kind of nice. And he hooks into a nice black drum, about 17, 18 inch black drum. So we get that in, we get that landed, and we put it back out there for him. And a few minutes later, he hooks into about 20 to 21 inch gaff top catfish, and we get that in for him. And then I said, hey, I think that's mission accomplished. I think we're going to call it a day, and just say that's enough. We got it done. So in any case, just crazy fishing adventure. It has nothing to do with why we're live streaming tonight, but I just thought I'd share that with you, because that was just an absolute crazy experience. I've never fished through a gale force storm before. I don't know that I'd recommend it. I don't know that I would do it again, but at the same time, it was just an interesting experience. But we did catch fish. We did catch a black drum. We did catch a gaff top, and then a few little hard heads as well mixed in there. So in any case, it can be done. It's just really, really tough. But that's not why you're here tonight. You're here to hopefully hear a little bit about summer saltwater fishing basics, some helps there to help you get on more fish in the summertime, because I think that summertime is one of the hardest times to fish. And if you have suggestions that you would recommend for summer saltwater fishing, put it in the chat as well. Or I'm also with Stanley Orchard and some of the guys over on a Discord server, and it's called the Premier. What is it called? Premier. Let me get the extra. Premier Fishing and Hunting. You can search that, Premier Fishing and Hunting. I don't think I can link it to you. I don't know how to do that. But Premier Fishing and Hunting, and you can go over there, and you can join us. And if you have freshwater tips, we'd love to hear those too, because there's a whole different chat section in there to help out people and share pictures, just do all kinds of stuff like that. So that's. But what I did find was this article, and I wanted to show this to you and bring this up, because I think it's kind of a cool article, and it talks a little bit about how we can get on more fish during the summer. Again, summer can be really tough because temperatures get higher, especially in Texas. The Texas summers, they're brutal. The saltwater heats up, water temperatures are really high, and it's really tough to get on the fish and to find them, because they're not going to be in the same places they would be in the winter and in the spring and the fall. They're going to be in a different place. And so one of the things that I've noticed during the warmest, and it was just lightning, thunder. One of the things that I have learned in doing summertime fishing, tides matter, of course. Outgoing, incoming, that matters. But time of day becomes even more important, in my opinion. Getting out there on the water at certain times, especially if you can get those times to line up with the tides, I think becomes really, really important. Many people really do think that early in the morning, like maybe, getting out there just at daybreak, maybe an hour or so, a little bit before, a little bit after, just that daybreak really fits in good. And you can have a lot of success. We just had a full moon as well, and so nighttime fishing can also be very productive as well. Unless, like at the beginning of this live stream, you are doing that during a gale force storm. Then it's not as fun. But in any case, some inshore fishing basics I think will help you during the summer. And the first is this, and this comes from an article that was written by a lady by the name of Debbie Hansen over at takemefishing.org. And she says, plan to fish when you have an incoming or outgoing tide, either first thing in the morning or just prior to sunset. And that's what I was just talking about. I think that's important. If you can line up those tides, the incoming or outgoing. I know some people, they only swear by one of the tides, but really either one of them can be very productive. So whether it's incoming or outgoing tide, if you can get that lined up with either the first in the morning, early in the morning, or if you can do it just prior to sunset, that is going to be one of the I think that's the best tip I can give you. And all this, I know now everybody's going to stop watching the live stream, but I do think that's one of the best things. If you're going to be out there and you're going to be in the middle of the day, it's going to be rough. It's going to be tough to get on those fish because they are not going to be on the flats. They're going to go find deeper water. They're going to find the cooler water because that water, when it heats up, when it gets really, the fish just don't want to be there. I mean, they're just like us in some ways. We like air conditioning, right? I mean, I think the person who invented air conditioning, we should have like monuments to them, and it should be like a special day of the year because we like air conditioning. Well, the fish are they're a lot of the same. They want to actually be cool as well, and they're going to find water situations that are going to be cooler. So in this middle of the day, they're going to go deep, and they're going to be hard to find. They're going to be in the deep channels. So remember that. The second tip that we'll give you is this: find the shade. Find the shade, and I don't mean like an umbrella or something like that. But if you can find like a rig, docks. Something like that, mangroves, something that casts a little bit of shade on that water. Again, that's that little bit of water change in temperature is going to be very important. Whether you're going from deep to shallow or whether you're finding just that little bit of shade where it's going to change the temperature, those things are just vital to finding those fish because that little bit of temperature change is going to really be what they hone on in. So I would definitely recommend that as well, as she does in the article, is find that shade and to use that shade to your advantage to find those fish that are going to be in that cooler water. The third suggestion that she talks about, and this one was kind of interesting to me. We don't do a whole lot of lure fishing. I'm kind of learning to do more lure fishing, especially we use gulps, we use voodoo shrimp, and we use some of the paddle tails. So we do some lure fishing, but not quite as much. But one of the things that she talks about in this article is slow down your presentations. If you're using a lure, to slow down that presentation so that the fish have more time to hone in on it, I think that's going to be better. Fish, they're not going, one of the things that predator fish is, they're not going to expand extra energy trying to get the bait. So if you can work that soft plastic, that jerk bait, that voodoo shrimp or DOA shrimp, if you can work that slower, jigging slower, it gives it more time for that fish to hone in on it and get that strike. And so I think that's important. When you're lure fishing as well, and actually I've been using this for more than just lure fishing, so it's something I would recommend. If you haven't learned yet how to tie a loop knot, make sure that you tie a loop knot. Loop knots are going to help you with your hookup ratio. Either a loop knot or a snell knot. Those are the two knots that I use for hooks. And I find them to be very good for jig heads and things like that. And while we're talking about slowing down your presentations, if you're free-lined shrimp, free-line mullet, free-lined anything like that, loop knots are your friend there. If one of the things that we have found, especially in free-lining shrimp, live shrimp, jig heads. Putting that live shrimp on a jig head and allowing it to move through that water column while jigging it, the fish really do key in on that because shrimp are full of protein. It's like one big bite of protein, and so that's one of the baits. It's kind of like a go-to bait because the fish are really cued in on that. So that's just the first three there. So plan to if you can line up your tides early in the morning, late in the evening. That's going to be a key. Find the shade, find where that water temperature change is from cooler to warmer. That's something that you're looking for as well. Slow down your presentations. Make sure that you're giving the fish time. They don't have to expend a lot of energy to get after that bait. The fourth one is about using live bait. If you are using live bait, one of the things you'll notice in your live well or in your bucket, your water is going to heat up too. So water changes. Make sure you're changing out your water. Make sure you're leaving more water room in the top. Aeration is important because you want to keep your baits alive and active. And the cooler the water, the more alive and active they will be. The warmer the water, the less that bait has a chance to survive. And so if you're using live bait, trying to keep that water circulated, aerated, and cool. So if you're out on the beach and you're using live bait, or if you're out on your boat and you're using live bait and you have it in a bucket, if you have it in something like that, then I would definitely recommend that you don't want to put ice in it because it's salt water, but you want to find shade for it. And you want to change out that water from time to time, because if that water gets warm, your bait's either get lethargic or it's going to die, and you didn't want that. So if you're using that live bait, then keeping that extra room and keeping that circulation, keeping that aeration, I think is very important. The fifth one, I don't know if this is as important. You guys tell me in the chat what you think about this, but I don't necessarily think it's as important. But landing your fish as quickly as possible is what she says in the article. When you're fishing purely for sport, she says during the summer months, using heavier tackle so that if you need to land the fish quickly, they don't become exhausted. High temperatures, less dissolved oxygen in the water, the fish won't have enough energy to survive. So she says to land them quickly. We do catch and release, but a lot of the fish that we catch and we eat. And we have a lot of catch and cook videos on that, on the red drum and the speckled trout, just all the fish that are out there. And so this idea of if you are a catch and release fisherman, then you don't want to be fighting the fish as long. The water's warm, they're losing energy. You want to, if you're catch and release, you want them to survive. And so you want to get those fish back into the water as quickly as possible with the least amount of fight. So heavier tackle, a heavier line, heavier braid can give you that opportunity to pull that fish in quicker so that you're not exhausting that fish, so that you can put them back into the water as quickly as possible. And so those are the 5 things that she points out here in this article to give some saltwater fishing basics for beginners, and hopefully this is helpful to you. Again, I want to kind of hear from you guys as to what you think is helpful when you're going saltwater fishing in the summer. The summertime, like I said, in Texas, it gets hot. We don't want to be out there in the middle of the day. It's either going to be early in the morning, it's going to be late in the evening. That's where we're going. We're not going in the middle of the day, because if you don't have shade, if you ever remember, and if you, well, I guess if you're as old as I am, maybe you remember Mario, the original one, and how there was a sunshine, and that sunshine would kind of come around and try and get you. I feel like that's like the Texas sun, just trying to get you. And the fish, they don't want to be gotten either. So I think that's early in the morning or late in the evening, getting those tides lined up is going to be key. Ben asked this question. He says, have you been beach jetty fishing recently? Coming out of Packery, it looks like inshore drawing out of the channels, making the beach dirty. Yeah, we went. That's a great question, Ben. We went surf fishing 2 weeks ago, and the water was so dirty. You could see the blue line of water, but it was so far offshore. One day it inched in maybe 300 yards or so offshore, but it was still too far to cast to, and really probably too far for most people even to kayak to. And then the next day it went out even further. And I don't know why it's so dirty right now and so churned up. We're also getting some reports of sarsen grass that's in the surf as well. And so it's kind of not the best time. I don't do a lot of beach fishing in July because it's just so hot. It's just when I have that opportunity and you know the kids want to go to the beach or something, then I'm going to take rods. But Jetty fishing, I haven't heard a lot about. The Port Aransas jetties would be the ones I have heard a little bit about, and it really depends on where that blue water is. If that blue water is reachable from the jetty, then it's going to work pretty well. If it's not reachable, then I don't think it's going to be any better than beach fishing. But the water flow out along the coast has just been really, really dirty for us. So I don't know if that's been your experience. I don't know if you had that experience. I have heard, at least up here, I guess we'd be on the top of the Texas coast. I have heard that in the Crystal Beach, Galveston, Boulevard Peninsula, that whole thing, a lot of sharks being caught. All kinds of different sharks, hammerheads, bull sharks. We've had just all kinds of black tips, and I think they said one thresher shark had been caught. So a lot of sharks being caught right now, and that could be because the water is so dirty and churned up that they're kind of getting in there and hunting closer to the shore. That I don't know. One of the guys, I'll give a shout out to Texas Beach Bum. And I don't know if you follow his channel, but he puts out a daily, almost, I think it's daily, a beach report for Padre Island and down towards Corpus and into the Pins. And he puts out that. So I would definitely turn to him for a source for that. So just a shout out there to Texas Beach Bum. And his channel there, he has a YouTube channel as well. If you like that beach fishing type of things. But our experience up here, it's been pretty churned up. It really has. It's been one of those things that we're looking for the blue water, and it was just too far offshore. And I'm like, oh man. There was one day where I was like, maybe it'll get in a little bit, because we spent like a couple of days down there. I was like, maybe it'll come in a little close tomorrow. Maybe if the wind dies down, and it just never did. And from what I've heard in the last week, it hasn't moved any closer either. The sargassum grass is also in there. And also I've been seeing reports of Portuguese, if you're surf fishing, Portuguese men of war are in the surf, as well as these little, I don't know what you call them. They're these little purple dots. Not the top of the man of wars. I know what those are, but they're like little button jellyfish that are purple or blue. And they've been in the surf as well, and I think they're pretty. They can hurt you as well. So just some things to keep in mind when you're out there doing that surf fishing. Keep some vinegar with you. Vinegar and hot water help with the jellyfish stings and the bites. So. But yeah, that's been our experience here. I don't know what everybody else has been experiencing, but if you've had a different experience on the beach, or if you want to share what you have, put that in the comments as well. I know a lot of you watch this after the fact. We're still working out times. Hopefully, as we kind of get regular with this, more people will be able to get in here and participate in the live streaming. But beach fishing during the summer, it's tough. It really is tough. Again, I think it's going to be early morning or in the evening. You're either going to have to get up just a daybreak to get out there, which is probably not a bad thing anyway, because all the people out there in the water, because you get more beach to yourself, or late in the evening, which can be hard because of lights. I have seen some guys with their RC lights or light rigs up on their trucks that'll kind of shine them out into the water. Probably attracts bait fish, may attract the predator fish if the bait fish are coming in. So I don't know if you're wanting to expend any money on it, but maybe that's an idea for beach fishing. So yeah. In any case, so that's just a little bit about warm weather fishing basics. If you have any other questions, make sure you get them in the chat. We'll do our best to get to them. Either I'll answer the comments or we'll answer them later. Traveling Fool says, "Gots to love them's jellyfish. Been stung hundreds of times." Yeah. My son, it was 2 weeks ago. We were fishing. And he was out there just kind of body surfing in the waves, and he got one all across his belly. It must have been in the sargassum. It was his first time ever getting stung. And my son, one of the things that he'll let you know if he's hurt, and the whole beach knew that he had been stung. But we got him some vinegar. We got him in a hot bath, just about as hot as he could take it. And that really helps to take that sting out, the vinegar and that really hot water. But yeah, jellyfish, oh man, there's certain things I believe in God, but there are certain times I have to get God. Why jellyfish? Like, why'd you have? What was the point? Was this just to tell us stay out of the water? The water's not for you, or like, what was the point of all of that? Surely there could have been a different plan there. I don't know, but we don't like the jellies. They especially the Portuguese men of war. They're dangerous and they hurt. They definitely hurt. So. In that case, so thanks you for joining us on this live stream. We'll try and keep the live streams maybe a half hour, 45 minutes or so. And like I said, I'm going to try and do these Thursday. Trying to figure out if 6:30 or 7 is a better time. So if you have an opinion on that, I'd love to hear that as well, to get some interaction with you guys, because I really do appreciate it. We are coming up on 1,800 subscribers. That's hard for us to believe. Super Clean has been working with us as well, so we're glad that they are working with us. They gave us hats and t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. So it is a great product. It's easy to work with a product that's great. So that they do have a great product as well. Cleaning your grills, boats, engines, all kinds of different things, applications there. So great product there. But in any case, and they're not even sponsoring this video. I'm just saying that because I do like it. But in any case, want to get more regular on these live streams. Hopefully we'll be able to do that now that we're kind of getting the routine after moving, getting the house all set up and all of that, which is a big thing. So thank you all so much for taking the time to be with us tonight, and God bless you all. Tight lines out there. We'll see you next time, and until next time, may you always catch your limit.